This video ends with Bill Mazeroski hitting a home run. You've probably seen it before. It's the only walk-off home run in Game 7 of the World Series. This exact scenario has been dreamt up by every aspiring ball player, but only Bill Mazeroski got to live it. And it produced one of the most iconic images in 150 years of professional baseball. So, why am I telling you this? Why am I spoiling the ending? Because it wasn't actually the most important hit in MLB history. In fact, it wasn't even the most important hit in that game. The main stat we'll be looking at today is win probability added. The question WPA tries to answer is how much did a play help the team win? This stat greatly depends on the game situation, which is a concept best explained through real-life examples. Let's say Tyler Glasnow and DJ LeMahieu face off in the bottom of the first. No runners on base, 0-0 ball game. Glasnow gets the strikeout. He's won the battle, but it was not a pivotal moment in the game. The odds of Tampa winning increased by just 2%, which decreases New York's odds of winning by, you guessed it, 2%. And because baseball is, at its core, a series of 1v1 matchups between the batter and pitcher, that win probability is applied to Glasnow and LeMahieu. Now let's say that Akil Baddoo hits a 9th inning grand slam. That has to be huge for win probability added, right? Well, not if he does it when his team is losing 15-2. Before he hit that grand slam, the Twins were definitely gonna win. After he hit that grand slam, the Twins were definitely still gonna win. The slam scores 4 runs, but does not change the win expectancy at all. Thus, 0 win probability is added or subtracted. A pivotal play would be a walk-off, like the one Mazeroski hit in the 1960 World Series. But seeing as WPA assesses the win expectancy for any given situation, not every walk-off is created equal. For instance, how about Ryan Braun versus the Cubs in 2020? The game is tied, but there are runners on the corners with no outs. This is a situation that will typically result in a Brewers walk-off, and if not, they'll just play extra innings. So, when Braun hits a sac fly, he wins the game. But he only adds 6% to the win probability. On the opposite end of the spectrum, how about Dansby Swanson versus the Nationals? The game isn't tied, the Braves are losing, and there's 2 outs with a runner on first. Situationally, one would expect the Nationals to win in this scenario, so when Swanson hits a walk-off home run, WPA loves it. The Braves' chances of winning go from 11% to 100%. Now let me drop a new one on ya. cWPA, Championship Win Probability Added. It's not the probability of winning the game we're after, rather, the probability a play adds to winning the World Series. As you can imagine, the top cWPA plays would have to take place in the playoffs themselves, and the plays capable of producing the most cWPA would occur in deciding World Series games. Indeed, the top 4 plays by cWPA came in a World Series elimination game. You'll probably recognize number 3 and number 4. Tony Womack's double off Mariano Rivera increased Arizona's chances of winning the World Series by 49.8%. Rajai Davis's homer off Aroldis Chapman increased Cleveland's chances of winning by 39%. You'll have to go down to number 6 for Mazeroski's walk-off homer, which he achieved in a tie game. But if there's anything we've learned from this exercise, it's that the most pivotal hits take teams from a losing position to a winning position. And that's exactly what the number 1 most important hit by championship win probability added did. Hal Smith, bottom of the 8th, Game 7, 1960 World Series. The 1960 World Series featured the New York Yankees and Pittsburgh Pirates, a unique matchup of the winningest and losingest teams of the previous decade. The Yankees were no stranger to the October Classic. Under manager Casey Stengel, they won 9 pennants and 7 World Series in 11 years. Whereas the 1960 Pirates celebrated their first pennant since 1927. Historical success aside, this was not a mismatch. Based on regular season record, the 1960 Yankees and Pirates were clearly the two best teams in the land. And given that this took place before the divisional era, they went straight to the World Series. The Yankees boasted a trio of Hall of Famers with Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, and Whitey Ford, but their top player by WAR was actually the league MVP, Roger Maris. The Pirates had a legend of their own in Roberto Clemente. They also had, and I'm not making these names up, Dick Groat and Don Hoke, who somehow finished 1-2 in MVP voting ahead of Willie Mays and Ernie Banks. I guess the voters really just wanted to give it to the pennant winners back then. Pittsburgh's pitching staff also boasted some interesting names. Harvey Haddix once took a perfect game into the 13th inning. Tom Chaney once struck out 21 Orioles in a 16-inning affair. And Vinegar Ben Mizell was named Vinegar Ben Mizell. It was a weird team, but they were good. Every game in the series was either a Yankees beatdown or the Pirates squeezing out a close win. Game 1, Pirates win 6-4. Game 2, Yankees win 16-3. Game 3, Yankees win 10-0. Game 4, Pirates win 3-2. Game 5, Pirates win 5-2. Game 6, Yankees win 12-0. Now, of course, we know it ends with the Pirates on top, but it's worth pointing out that the Yankees outscored the Pirates 55-27 in this series. They scored more than twice as many runs as their opponents and lost. With all that in mind, it's time for Game 7, the deciding game in the series, one where a single swing could determine the outcome of the entire season, and thus generate some serious championship win probability added. The Pirates opened up the scoring quickly with a 2-run homer from Rocky Nelson in the bottom of the first. Bill Verdon followed that up with a 2-run single in the second. The Pirates were quickly leading 4-0 with an 88% win expectancy. The Yankees got a run back thanks to a Bill Skowron homer in the 5th, but it wasn't until the 6th that they launched a devastating rally. With a couple runners already on base, Mickey Mantle hit an RBI single. Yogi Berra followed it up with a 3-run homer. Suddenly, the Yankees were leading 5-4. Berra's blast had increased their win probability, and thus their championship win probability by 34%, making it the 10th most pivotal play in MLB history. Pittsburgh's desperation began to mount. After their star catcher Smokey Burgess smoked a single to center field, manager Danny Murtaugh aggressively pinch ran for him, lifting Burgess from the game. The offense was unable to capitalize. Don Hoke lined out to left field, and Bill Mazeroski grounded out into a double play. The Yankees added 2 huge insurance runs in the 8th, extending their lead to 3. They needed just 6 outs to clinch the series. But the Pirates came roaring back, leading off the bottom of the 8th with 3 singles, one of which painfully bounced off Yankees shortstop Tony Kubek's face. He had to be removed. Stengel made a substitution of his own, bringing in reliever Jim Coates for Bobby Shantz. A bunt groundout and a shallow flyout led to a crucial at-bat from Roberto Clemente. Runners on second and third, 2 outs. Pirates losing 7-5. On a 2-strike count, Clemente hit a soft dribbler to the right side and won the foot race to first. Bill Verdon scored from third to make it a 1-run ball game. It's time. With the Pirates star catcher Smokey Burgess out of the game, they turned to their backup, Hal Smith. As Smith walked up to the plate, the Yankees were still in a good spot, with a 70% chance to win the game and thus the World Series. But sometimes, the right man in the right place can make all the difference.
And Hal Smith hits a drive to deep left field. The ball is way back out there, going.
The Pirates now led 9-7. With 2 outs, Smith had flipped the game and series on its head by hitting a home run with a championship win probability added of 63.6%. Many of you have just witnessed the most pivotal play in MLB history for the first time. But the game was far from over. The Yankees, now trailing by 2, were down to their last 3 outs. They collected 2 singles off Bob Friend to begin the 9th. Harvey Haddix was brought in to deal with the most dangerous part of the Yankees lineup: Maris, Mantle, and Berra. Maris popped out to the catcher, 1 out. After Hal Smith's unlikely home run, the Pirates could taste glory. But the Commerce Comet had other plans. Mantle singled to right field, scoring 1 and moving the tying run to third. Yogi Berra grounded out to first, where a defensive miscue and Mickey Mantle juke move prevented a double play and allowed the tying run to score. Miraculously, the Hall of Fame duo saved the Yankees season after being on the brink of elimination. You know what happened in the bottom of the 9th. Bill Mazeroski led off in a tie game and walked off the series for Pittsburgh. In doing so, he took the Pirates from a 63% win probability to 100%, making it the 6th most pivotal play by cWPA in MLB history, but also the 2nd most pivotal play of the game, trailing the home run by Hal Smith in the 8th inning. In a game featuring Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, and Roberto Clemente, it was the no-name catcher Hal Smith who made the greatest impact of all. In fact, Hal Smith wasn't even the most famous catcher named Hal Smith at the time. The Cardinals had a Hal Smith of their own who was an all-star in 1959. As Smith circled the bases, even he was unsure of just how big a moment it was. The reaction of Clemente is much more in line with what cWPA tells us. Pure, unadulterated joy. Yes, the Yankees came back, but it was in vain. It just set the stage for Bill Mazeroski's walk-off. Mazeroski's heroics earned him a spot in Cooperstown. They also generated one of the game's most iconic images. His home run had staying power. Smith never received anything near that level of recognition. In a year that claimed the lives of Joe Morgan, Al Kaline, Tom Seaver, and Bob Gibson, among others, Hal Smith's passing in January 2020 barely registered a blip. His career stats don't stand out on a baseball reference page either. But he achieved something that the other legends of the game couldn't. In the 8th inning of a pivotal Game 7, he took the Pirates from a losing position to a winning one. His teammate, Dick Groat, called it the most forgotten home run in baseball history. It doesn't have to be that way. Championship win probability added didn't exist in 1960, but certainly exists now, and according to the leaderboard, Hal Smith's homer is worth remembering. The most forgotten home run? No thanks. How about this? The most important hit in MLB history. This video was brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. Their classes will help you explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. Hey baseball fans, want to learn how to design a sports team logo? Skillshare has it. Want to build your first stat database with SQL? Skillshare can help you do that too. As for me, I'll be working on my productivity with fellow YouTuber Thomas Frank. I just learned that a habit has 3 parts: a cue, a routine, and a reward. Skillshare is ad-free, geared for all levels of expertise, and always launching new classes. And if you want to try it out for yourself, the first 1,000 people who sign up for Skillshare with my link in the description will receive a free trial. So check it out. By the way, they gave the World Series MVP to Bobby Richardson of the Yankees. I know, baseball writers, am I right?